What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Trailer Park Live right here on the 2nd Street Marvel, where we're coming at you live every single Friday night at 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Now, I want to apologize. Yeah, I'm a few minutes late tonight, and, I don't really have any other excuse than, well, hey, it's been a busy day, getting a lot of things done, and trying to get prepared to do this show for all of you wonderful people here tonight. I do greatly appreciate every single one of you stopping by tonight. Thank you so much for being here. Now, if this is your first time here, what I usually do is I go over some of the comic books that I pulled for the week, and then we get in and talk with you all and interact as just some of the different things that have been going on throughout the week. And I'm going to have a very special guest here on the show just a little bit later on. Somebody I've kind of been talking about here a little bit lately, and we're going to go ahead and do that here in just a little while. Now, first thing, I want to get started right off the top here, talking as always about comic books. And first one I want to talk about here is Peter Parker, Peter Porker, the Spectacular Spider-Ham. This book is absolutely ridiculous. It's nothing but a bunch of silliness. You guys, if you've ever heard of Spider-Ham, maybe you have, maybe you haven't. But if you watched that Sony movie last year, yeah, that one, Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, you probably heard of the Spectacular Spider-Ham. I remember watching this series or reading this series when I was a kid. I think I've still got like 2 or 3 of the original series tucked away some here in one of my long boxes. And I don't know, I thought this was a silly book. Of course, it's playing on Spider-Man. It's another tokenized version of Spider-Man. What do you think about that? And this time he's a ham. We got some animal representation, and I've got to tell you, this one's a good book. I thought it was good. This one actually came out the week of Christmas, I want to say it was, and I gotta tell you, I was pretty satisfied with it. Bunch of like silly, crazy stuff going on here, and just Peter Porker being Peter Porker. So yeah, I don't know. That's really all it is. The other one, I did drop reviews of these on the channel already. Black Widow Prelude, guys. There is things coming out of this book like little things that it was hinting at that I was wanting it to hint at, because there are things that I've been theorizing here on the channel that I thought this was going to hint at, and it did. And I was talking about those a little bit earlier on the show today. Now, most of the time, these books, they don't really offer a whole lot of stuff in them for building theories on or anything. But you can see right there, that was the cover of it. On my review, I showed some of the art. Really, what a lot of this is flashbacks from Black Widow from right after Civil War, when General Thaddeus Ross is trying to bring Black Widow to justice because she's an enemy of the state, because she helped Steve Rogers and Bucky Barnes get away from that airport there in Germany. Remember that? How terrible. But there was something else that I noticed in here where they were talking about, General Ross is talking about her being a fugitive of the state, which technically she wouldn't be part of the Sokovia Accords. I started to wonder about that a while back, like, why would Black Widow be part of the Sokovia Accords? She's not a superhuman. She's just a super spy. Which is funny because there's actually an allusion to that exact same thing in a Captain Marvel book that had come out last year. The Captain Marvel Prelude, which was only 1 issue as compared to Black Widow's 2 issues. Little weird, but there's definitely some cool things going on here. Some things that I thought were going to come out in here, which is some references to Avengers, the first Marvel's Avengers, where Loki and Black Widow were having a conversation, and Loki was sitting there talking about some of her past transgressions, and one of those happened to be Dracov's daughter. And in this book, we learn a little bit more about who Dracov is. Now, the thing here is this all comes out in this little conversation between General Thaddeus Ross and Councilwoman Holly. Now, Councilwoman Holly, she was the lady in Captain America not Civil War, but Captain America Winter Soldier. Remember when they were at the Triskelion, and that old lady Congresswoman, or I guess Councilwoman Holly in this case, was there, and it was Black Widow. She had her little face spoofer on, and she fooled, Alexander Pierce. And she says, and she goes and she looks at him and says, "Oh, I'm sorry. Did I step on your moment?" Yeah. Remember that? It's in this book. But there's other things that happened in Captain America Winter Soldier that I'm telling you, they pertain to a lot of this stuff. And some of that stuff is other things that I've talked about here throughout the week. And those things happen to be where I kind of believe, I wonder if Natasha or maybe any of the other Black Widows operatives had anything to do with Riley getting shot out of the air. Remember when they went in to, there was so many RPGs that night, no helicopter could get in or out. And that's when Sam Wilson ended up losing his partner, Riley, which subsequently made him quit the Army. Makes me wonder if they just had anything to do with that. Because another thing that we kind of do learn throughout this book is that somewhere probably, a couple years before Iron Man 2, Black Widow was on one of her first missions for S.H.I.E.L.D., and that mission involved going into Iran to extract this nuclear engineer, and that was when she first came upon the Winter Soldier. Remember, he shot her through, bye bye bikinis. Remember that scene? Yeah, I was talking about this all week, guys, and I have more theories that I want to build just off of things on here, but. My whole thing is like she was kind of in the Middle East, maybe around the same time. Maybe she had something to do. Maybe she had something to do with Riley being taken out. You think? You think? All the transgressions and other things she's done, and what's with Dreykov's daughter? Dreykov, okay, in case you don't know, Dreykov, according to this book, Dreykov was actually in charge of the Red Room. The Red Room being where Natasha Romanoff was trained at, and it was ran by Madam B. And they mention all of that in this book. And we also seen, flashes in Avengers Age of Ultron talking about this exact same stuff. So, I'm telling you guys, I think a lot of this is some really juicy stuff and just little stuff that came out of this book, bringing up some of those things from the past. So I think it kind of gives us some sort of idea about what to expect in the near in this movie possibly. One of the things I was thinking is it seems like they've got all of these operatives there, these other Black Widows that are being trained. Yelena is one, Yelena Belova. It made me wonder, like, do you think that maybe at some point Black Widow was, asked to go out there and bring Dreykov's daughter in, or maybe somehow maybe she got her out because she was going to be a Black Widow and part of it, and maybe that's Yelena. Maybe Yelena is Dreykov's daughter. Who knows? I honestly don't know, but there's a whole lot of things, really cool things that can be drawn out of this Black Widow Prelude comic book. And I gotta say something else. Those people over there from We Got This Clickbait. Ooh yeah, they jumped on my story, but I covered it first. We got you, clickbait. Yeah, that's right. I seen you come out with your article about a day later. I don't think I'm not onto you guys. You guys biting on my videos. The small guy over here. We're watching you guys. We're watching you. The other one I did a review on here on the channel recently was Jessica Jones' Blind Spot. Again, this one's kind of funny. It's got this little parental advisory there. Not for kids. Would you let your kids read comic books? You shouldn't, because this one has some very graphic things that happen, and it's not for cursing, because they certainly don't curse in here. But if you watch my review on it, what we get here at the beginning is we get some real problems in our American society, first world problems, as we see that Jessica Jones is with her husband Luke Cage, walking their daughter through Hell's Kitchen Park, and they're talking about her birthday party and how they need to get the right cereal for her daughter, otherwise she's going to be very upset. These are very pressing and important matters. But then lo and behold, it turns out that she's going to be framed. Jessica Jones is going to be framed for this murder. And then all of a sudden, blam! Uh-oh. Jessica Jones dead. But there's no need to worry about that, though. Because at the very beginning of the book, we get this right here where she's being held captive in this time and location unknown. But throughout the whole rest of the book, we knew the time and location of where she was at. We sure do. Altogether, this book wasn't really that bad. Like I said, go watch my review on it. I don't know. It's only a 6-issue miniseries, so I'm sure I'll probably go ahead and read all 6 of them and bring you guys a full review of the full series once they all come out. But altogether, not too bad. I don't know. Some things in there seemed a little unnecessary, but I guess that's a lot of comic books nowadays. Now, the one I have not done a review on this week yet, and that was Machine Girl issue number 3. This is on Stonebot Comics and Red 5 Comics, as a matter of fact, as well. I'm not really sure what the difference is here, but you can see up there in the top corner we got Stonebot, and then down here in the corner we got Red 5. I don't know. I'm guessing Red 5 is the person who's like doing the bigger distribution on it. Maybe, like Stonebot is their, smaller label that they have under that. I don't know, but either way, I thought this issue was pretty good. Now, this is only a 4-issue miniseries, and this is issue number 3. I covered issue number 2 in a video that I dropped, believe earlier this week, talking about my indie comic books, because issue number 2 came out a couple weeks ago. But what's going on in this story is basically Machine Girl here, Megan, the main character, is she's like she's got a mech body, she's got a robotic body, but she's got the mind of a human. Like, her mind is human. Just from what I'm guessing here, because it turns out her father, who she's been living with, this scientist, he actually was an intergalactic World War One. And basically, these aliens came down. They were defeating the humans. Well, the humans developed these cybergenetic humans to go off and fight the war. And this was done by her father, Dr. Pigot. Well, he invented these machines, if you will, I guess these robots, and they went out and turned the tables on the war, and the humans started winning back. Well, at some point, once the war was over, the world was still kind of recovering, and the humans no longer looked to the robots as heroes or anything like that. Most of them, were discriminatory and didn't like them and stuff like that. As you can imagine, it's robotism or racism or I don't know what ism it is. It's one of those isms though, so it can't be a good thing, right? And so the robots ended up, and the robots were actually provoked, basically, or not even provoked, but were backed up to go and rebel against the humans in the way that they basically just left Earth and said, okay, well, to heck with you guys. You guys don't like us. You don't respect us. We're taking off. So they ended up making their home on the moon. All these robots did, along with Dr. Pigot. Yeah, I know what you're thinking. You're thinking like, hey, man, this sounds a lot like Alita Battle Angel. Welcome to Cyberpunk. But anyway, so she, what happened was all these robots were living there on the moon, and then lo and behold, not too much later, they all just died. Like, they all became extinct, because there was this problem within the programming of. What happened was, once they were putting these human minds into these mech bodies, the bodies were just fine, but the minds couldn't integrate into the robots just right. There were some of the cyber genetic beings that it did take on. There was a certain run of them that it did, and Megan just happens to be one of those, we believe. And but the thing is what happened is a lot of these people whose minds couldn't integrate with the robot bodies, they ended up committing suicide, or some of them just became complete psychopaths. So just some different things going on here, just really weird stuff. And then basically Dr. Pigot and his daughter had disappeared for years, and they had been being tracked down by the human beings. Well, one of the things that Dr. Pigot had done with his daughter here, Megan, is she was one of a rare few of these robotic people, these cybergens, if you will. That's what they're called, cybergens. She's a robot, but she can function like a human. She can get pregnant and have babies. She grows old and all of that same kind of stuff. So they're kind of these bad guys from Earth who were there to take her, and that were attacking her father on their farm. All they want to do is save their species, and they need her, and they want to impregnate her to have babies. I know, crazy stuff, right? Crazy stuff. Who would have thought? Who would have thought? But it's been a pretty good book. It's been a pretty good book so far, and I can't really complain that much about it. I guess we'll see how issue number 4 wraps up. Now, I will say that these books, while they've been okay, it seems a little bit rushed. I mean, you're trying to fit a whole story arc into 4 issues. Some stories can do that. I've noticed that Vault Comics does some of that in some of their books. They'll have about 4 issues for a little mini series, and put out a trade paperback, which works for some books. I just feel that some of them it's a little bit rushed, and in this particular series, it seems like it's going to be maybe just a little bit rushed. Maybe like maybe like the last issue is going to be like a whole bunch of, like hurry up and get it done, and that's it, and that's the book. Where maybe they should have went ahead to try to stretch for 5. I don't know. It could be just me. Now, the next ones I want to talk about are some I have to do some reviews of here on the channel. That's Ruby Falls issues number 3 and number 4. These are the last two in a 4-issue miniseries being published by Dark Horse Comics on Burger Books, being written by Ann Nocenti with art by Flavia Bonda, and Lee Lowridge is the letterer. I probably got some of those names wrong on here. I can open that up and show you all if you would like. But basically, what's going on here is Ruby Falls is like a murder mystery in a small town. And let's see. Ann Nocenti is the writer. Flavia Biondi is the artist. Lee Lowridge is the colorist, and Sal Cipriano is the letterer. Yeah, there we go. Right there, you can see that. I'll show you some of the art here in just a second. Now, this one, like I said, it's a little murder mystery. Some things going on in this book. What happens is it happens in a small town, and our main character here is trying to solve this murder of a murder that had happened years and years before. And in a small town, everybody seems to know everything, and everybody wants to keep it covered up. Nobody wants to be the bad guy. No, but it's a small town. If you're from a small town, you'd probably you might know something a little bit about that. You know what I mean? But basically, what's going on here is this: the main character here. She's a lesbian. She has a girlfriend, and the first 2 issues, didn't really. None of the issues really focus on that too much. It's just part of the story. It's just part of the characters. But I think in issue number 3 we got a little bit of that kind of, I don't know, I guess it's not even feminist language. I guess it would be typical kind of conversations that a lesbian couple would probably have, especially when the one of them ends up kind of she ends up flirting with this guy who works at the local paper because he has access to information. She was flirting with him. She never made any moves or anything, or did she? And anyway, so he makes a move on her in public in front of her girlfriend. Gives her a big old kiss on the neck, and it caused this real scene. And they kind of got into it, and it was pretty crazy. But they end up here by the end. They do end up solving this murder and mystery. Or was it a murder? Did anybody actually get murdered in here, or did somebody just come up missing? Ooh, murder mystery here. I gotta tell you, overall I thought it was a pretty decent read. Only 4 issues. The story didn't feel rushed or anything, but it seemed the story itself seemed a little, I wouldn't even say lackluster, but it seemed like it was missing a little bit more depth to make it a really good story. But yeah, I don't know. I'll probably be doing a review of those books here on the channel very, very soon. Probably here over the weekend. Now, another thing I did want to let you guys know, don't forget tomorrow, probably around 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, which if you're out on the East Coast, that would be 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Going to be doing a live stream this weekend talking with Dylan's Comic Book Rants. We're going to see if we can get Chaos and Comics again on the show. We did a good live stream last week talking about some of the Dawn of X titles that have spun out of Jonathan Hickman's reboot of the X-Men in the Marvel Universe in House of X and Powers of X. And we're going to come together. We're going to see if we can make something a little bit regular kind of show doing that on Saturdays. So I think it'll be I think it's going to be a good time. You guys should definitely make sure that you go and check that out. If you don't know Dylan's Comic Book Rants, you should go check him out. Very cool dude. One of these younger channels here on YouTube, but he's been making quite a name for himself, and it's been really good. And of course, Chris from over at Chaos and Comics is an absolutely great dude. Like I said, guys, if you get a chance, go here on the channel and check out the live stream that we did yesterday. Now, the other thing I want to say before we move on, you know what? And maybe, hopefully, let me make sure that I took that out of here, because there was something I was supposed to do here. And okay, I didn't do it. All right, good deal. The other thing I wanted to say, guys, now if you'd like to send any direct donations to the channel, there are some links down in the description where you can do that. You can send it via Streamlabs, or you can become a monthly Patreon supporter. All of these live streams that are doing here on the channel are brought to you by the lovely folks who are our Patreon supporters. So shout out to every single one of our Patreon supporters who make these, who help make the experience here on these live streams even better than, well, what they would be if we didn't have these awesome sponsors. So thank you very much to all of the Patreon supporters, and you can see all of their names down here at the bottom of the screen. Okay, so Now, moving on, some other things that I wanted to get into for the week before I go ahead and get with our very special guest that we're going to have here on the show tonight. The one thing I wanted to talk about was earlier this week there was this breaking story. Everybody was talking about it, or at least a couple of people were talking about it, and it was something that I had to cover, and that was there's rumors going on around there that Kelly Sue DeConnick is going to be the writer of the next Captain Marvel movie. I seen this just here, I want to say at the tail end of this last weekend, and it's something that's kind of carried on throughout the week, and I seen a couple of videos. I'm like, I better go let everybody know that this whole story is a bunch of bullshit. And so I went out there and I got on the internet and I did a little bit of digging. All it took was about 5 minutes worth of research. 5 minutes worth of research, and went out and found that, this whole story was all fake news. It was put out there by a couple of clickbait rags. I mean, these are like the lowest of low of the clickbait rags too. These are like clickbait sites you probably never even heard of before. And naturally, what happens when stories like this happen is a couple of people out there in the YouTube community, they hurry up and hop on like, I gotta make that video right now, dang it, we're gonna live stream our reaction to this new trailer. We're gonna live stream our reaction as we sit there and watch this new TV show that's just started streaming that everybody's gonna be jumping on board to. Everybody's gotta be the first, and I'm telling you, everybody's always gotta be the first with these kind of stories. And naturally, these clickbait rumors came out and somebody ran with this story. Now, I did talk about this the other day, and I gotta tell you, I was talking about it the other day because what happened was the Entertainment Hacker had done a video on it, and he was talking about he heard about it from Josiah Rises. And so I did a video on the Morning Movie Chat where I was talking about exactly this story and pretty much debunked this whole thing. Now, the one thing is, the next day I came back and I was like, hey, whoa. I was like, I went because I was getting ready to put some of those little cards that pop up, somewhere around there. Is one popping up right now? Anyway, I was I was sitting there getting ready to put some cards on the video. I was watching the intro to the video. I was like, oh man, I was like, this sounds really bad. This sounds like I'm talking shit about Entertainment Hacker and Josiah Rises. And I was like, well, I didn't mean anything bad about them. I was merely only talking about their sources. The sources that they used were shit. They were complete clickbait garbage, and no, like these sites are lower than We Got This Covered site. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah. If you get that bad, you're really down there in the muck, man. That's like gutter ball. You know what I'm saying? That's like walking Sierra Highway here in Lancaster. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't do it. So I did a video the other day, kind of debunking these things, and then like I said, the next day I was like, hey man, I realized it sounded like I was talking shit. Like, I wasn't trying to talk shit about any. Well, I mean, not them, but their source, which wasn't a source. And then lo and behold, okay, then a couple of days later, Mad Max, the Mandalorian, he was doing a live stream on his show the other day, and him and Darth Lundgren were talking about the same thing because John Tox went out there and did a video on the Captain Marvel clickbait as well. A Captain Marvel movie hasn't even been announced yet, and Captain Marvel 2 is already dominating the news. Oh, so John Tox did a video on it as well, and Mad Max the Mandalorian and Darth Daddy from over at the Great Council, they were doing a live stream on it, and I hopped on for a few minutes, and I believe fire water effects, something like that, was on the live stream as well. And well, like when I hopped onto it, I was like, man, these fools are going hard on John Tox, dude. Because they were like talking shit and everything. I'm like, bro, like, you guys are being an asshole just like him. Like, what are you guys doing? Well, what happened was, always take things out of, things in context. You want to always go back and look. So, like I hung out for a little while, and I was like, like, other things were going on in the comic book community, so I hopped on another live stream. Well, anyway, so I went back the next morning, and I watched the video. I'm like, oh, okay, like, I got getting the context of the whole setup brought whole new perspective. Cause man, they were talking shit, man. But I'm not even a fan of John Tox, but I'm not gonna sit here and talk shit about the guy. You know what I mean? Like, shit, that's kind of messed up. Even if you don't like the guy, like, damn, like, they was going at it. You know what I'm saying? And then So I watched the video. I was like, oh, okay. Like they were talking about he was being a dick for picking on people and their looks, and they were joking around, you know. And then so like some of that context, but I was like, oh, okay. Like I got you, yeah, because that's what they were laughing. I'm like, okay, see, that's what that just goes to let you know, folks. Context means everything. It really does. You know what I mean? You know if somebody's being serious, you know if somebody's joking and all that kind of stuff. And once you get context of something, it really brings it back in. You're like, oh, okay. Like I get why they were saying what they were saying now. So anyway, I'm watching that and then I'm telling you, man, Captain Marvel. Captain Marvel. Because people care so much about Captain Marvel, especially the Captain Marvel movie, the second one coming out. Which if you follow me here on the channel, you know that I already believe that the second Captain Marvel movie is going to be Captain Marvel Civil War 2. But hey, you didn't hear that here. You didn't hear that from me. Okay, you did hear that here and you heard that from me. But the thing is then lo and behold today, I see another video from somebody talking about the Captain Marvel matter. And they're defending their bullshit video. Saying like, hey man, some of us don't do YouTube for a living. Some of us have jobs. Some of us have kids. Some of us don't have time to put in research to make sure these things are accurate. But can you deny that this could be true? That this writer could be... And I'm like, really? You're gonna defend your shit? Your fucking shit with, I didn't have enough time, but you had enough time to research this time? Like, you just admitted in your video that you're making clickbait bullshit. I'm like, oh, total facepalm. I'm like, how you defend that shit? And that's the thing. Like, how do you, like if you have time to go and put in research now, like you had time to read the article to everybody there on the screen, all you had to do is put in like, 2 more seconds of research time, you know what I mean? And don't give me this bullshit about like oh, some of them has jobs. Bitch, I got 3 fucking kids and I run my own business. And I was able to put in 5 minutes to look through this story and be like, oh, this is clickbait trash. Like 5 minutes of reading, you could literally tell. It's so bad. You could even go watch your boy Zach. Your boy Zach did a video on the exact same thing. The same exact day I did a video on it. Like on my live stream later, like that day, he did his exact same video about, okay, there's this story going around here. And he picks apart the whole article. Like, I'm not sure if you watch your boy Zach, but he's fucking hilarious. And he did this video talking about this Captain Marvel article. And he's like, you go to this site and look it up. And it's from this site called Sausage Roll. And he's like, so first off, if you're listening to any site that has the word sausage in it, just no. Just no. Just don't. Just know that no matter what it is, they're full of shit. And then he goes off and he just picks apart. He picks apart the whole article, like stuff that I was sitting there like, well, I've read it and it just sounded like a bunch of nonsensical bullshit. And he picks it apart. He's like, I think this this article was written by a bot that they just took and they put the search term Kelly Sue DeConnick and Captain Marvel in there, and it just spit out a bunch of words. And you know what? I went back and I read the article and I was like, you know what? Your boy Zach might be right. He might be right because this looks like a bunch of shit. It looks like a bunch of shit. But then, like I said, I see this video this morning on my news feed, on my subscription feed. This motherfucker defending his bullshit article and his bullshit video with, well, I just didn't have the time. And why would I have the time? I just wanted to make a video. And come on, wouldn't you watch this video with that title? Come on, like, are you serious? Like, you're admitting to making shit videos with stupid, misleading fucking headlines. Oh, man. Oh, I don't even know. Like, to me, that's just like the funniest shit in the world. You know what I mean? Like it's okay. Like, if you're not knowledgeable on something, it's okay to admit. You just come out and be like, oh man, this news story came out. Man, I sound stupid. I ran with it. I should have took another couple minutes, guys. I'm sorry that this happened. Like, don't come out here and defend that shit. You gotta come out and defend that shit. Just be like, hey, I was wrong. Yeah, whatever. I'm stupid. I made a mistake. It's all good. But no, You come out, you try to defend your shitty video. So, like, come on, man. This is the kind of shit that hurts fandoms. This is the kind of stuff that ruins it. This is the kind of stuff that ruins it for everybody because you're spreading outright lies and you're admitting it and you're saying you don't care. You know what I'm saying? That's the problem, and that's the problem with all these clickbait bullshit websites out there. That, you know what, like all the we got this coverage of the world, the cosmic book news, the all the clickbait rags out there with all their bullshit articles. That's the thing. That's where it hurts the fandoms, is because you get people in there that are, you know, normies, and there's nothing wrong with being a normie. And the thing is like, if you're talking about shit and you don't know anything about it, hey, you're a fucking normie. Just know your spot at least. Know that, like, hey man, like, I don't know about all this stuff, and, you know, like, that's okay. Nobody's gonna hold that against you. You do a video, be like, hey, you know what, like, I don't really know a whole lot about this, but I seen this article, and, you know, and, but that was the thing in this video. It was like, man, but it could be true, you know, this whole bullshit article, it's a bunch of shit, and it's been proven to be a bunch of shit, but hey, it could be true. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know, man. To me, it just cracks me up. I don't get it. How do you put out stuff you know is shit, and then you come out and defend the shit? Like, I don't know, man. Let me know how you guys feel about that, guys. I'm gonna get here into the live chat. I'm gonna get on here and get ready to give our guest a call and see. Let's see if we can get him on here for just a few minutes. This very special guest that I'd like you guys to meet if you guys haven't already. So let me go ahead and get this on here. Let me get this all. Okay. We'll get this all taken care of, and then we'll get back to this in just a second. Okay. Let's see. Bam. Okay. Got them all queued up. We'll give them a call here in just a minute, guys. Okay, let's see who all we got here. I see we got a lot of the usual suspects, a lot of great people here. Perp-Minded, Lonely Banter, Captain Pennsylvania, Lou, U.S. Dutch Kitty, Tommy, Biden Touch, Terrazon, thank you so much for being here. Fanjecture himself, and this is going to be our guest tonight, folks. If you guys aren't subscribed to Fanjecture, you should make sure that you go ahead and go give him, go check out the channel and check him out. Doing some really cool stuff over there at the channel. Captain Pennsylvania says, can't stay, wanted to stop though. Say what's up, everybody. Be safe out in them streets tonight. Yes, definitely be safe. No drinking and driving. These days with Uber and all that kind of stuff, there's absolutely no reason for it. So people who get DUIs and stuff these days, are you dumb? Don't go drinking and driving, man. It's not worth it. The Lonely Banter says, oh, I bet you contacted that special guest, huh? I'm sorry, it was a last minute thing. No, it was a last minute thing. Like, a lot of the things I do are spur of the moment. And LB, my brother, I'm sorry, man. You gotta forgive me. You gotta forgive me. Oh, Fan Jackson, don't do that, man. You gonna egg him on like that? He says some of us are more special than others. Man, that's messed up. You know he gonna give me a hard time about that. That's not right, dude. That is not right. Lou says, finally got in some good rain. It's been raining for a few days now. Bloody lovely. Aye, how about yourself? All right, man, that's good. Because Lou is one of our brothers from down under, you know, and we know that there's been all those fires going on there in Australia. So, yeah, hopefully some rain will hopefully come in and help save the day a little bit. Terrazon says, LB gets more hate than me. That's something. No, man. Much love for LB. Dang, man. See, that's the worst, man. I am the worst, dude. Sith Lord, thank you so much for being here. Zach Bolton says, my local comic book shop was sold out of the Prelude this morning. You know, Zach Bolton, a lot of that happens because the comic book shops don't order a whole lot of them. They don't order a whole lot of those Preludes, because I can't imagine that they sell very many in the first place. Like, I'm willing to bet my local comic book shop probably orders 5 tops. They don't order very many. But you know what, Zach Bolton, send me a private message. Get at me on Twitter, Instagram, or Facebook. Get at me at Second Street Marvel, and we can get. It won't be a physical copy, but we can get you hooked up with a digital copy. Let me know. Get a hold of me. Do it. Let's see, Fenrir Fire, thank you so much for being here. Perp Minded says, salute, Lou, Tommy, Tara, Sith, Biden, and everybody else. Hell yeah. Yova Rhodes is here. What's up? How are you doing? Wolf Warner! More Red Room, says Wolf Warner. Yes, man. I definitely want to see more of the Red Room here in this Black Widow movie. I can't wait to see it. Plus, I mean, I don't know. Black Widow has become one of my favorite characters in Marvel Comics. Just here over these this last year because of this book right here, the No Restraints play put out by written by the Saska sisters with art by Flaviano. Absolutely great book. I love this. What I loved about it so much is she's not a superhero, but you know what she does have? She has super spy powers. She's a super badass. She's trained, and she went to Madripoor and put a stop to some human traffickers who were doing some very, very disgusting things. I like the realness of this book, and I love the story that it was telling. It has a lot to do with, you've been paying attention to all that stuff in the news out there with Jeffrey Epstein and all that trash. She went out and she took out a lot of the dirty laundry there in Madripoor. And you know what? Damn it, we need a real life Black Widow out there to bring some of these people to justice. Because you know what? There can be no real justice because the harm has already been done for a lot of these people. But you know what? A little bit of justice goes a long way. I can guarantee you that. But yes, definitely more Red Room. And if you guys haven't checked out Wolf Warner's channel, go check out Wolf Warner. He does his comic book pull lists are always great. Very high energy dude, man. Just great stuff. Great stuff that he does. Let's see. Terrazon says, saw most of you guys on Angus's stream. Yeah, I was gonna say I was hanging out on Angus's stream earlier, listening in as I was out in the garage doing some strength training here a little bit earlier. So yeah, I was there hanging out and listening to everybody have a good time. That was fun, definitely fun. And hey, you know what? Speaking of which, Josh, yeah, I know you're out there watching, Josh. Yeah, Josh from the Den of Nerds. I know you're out there watching. I know you're out there watching my video right now. And you know what? I'm getting a little bit jealous here, bro. You're on everybody else's channel. You even put me on your channel, but you haven't been on mine yet. But no, seriously, I need to get Josh here, do a stream with him one of these days. Josh is a great guy, man. Big supporter of the Den of Nerds over there. Cool channel. If you guys don't follow the Den of Nerds, you probably should, because they've been doing some live streams on the Den of Nerds Live. They're getting ready to bring back Den of Nerds Gaming. Definitely going to be a good time. And plus, Josh is a cool dude, man. I like. I've been a supporter of the Den of Nerds for quite a while, but he knows like he's knowledgeable about this whole YouTube games and stuff like that, like stuff that I'm not good at. So definitely always good to have friends who know what the hell they're doing, aside from making just a bunch of clickbait crappy videos. You know what I'm saying? Good to have friends that definitely know what they're talking about. Comics Club, thank you so much for being here. The Comics Club says, careful. Comic books contain ideas. Yes, they do. The Amazing Spider-Man fan, hello. How are you doing, the Amazing Spider-Man fan? Let me guess. Do you like the Amazing Spider-Man? The comic book or the movie? Because I like both. I mean, well, maybe not the Amazing Spider-Man 2 so much, but the first movie was good. And I like the comic book. I've been reading it. Speaking of which, I've got to catch up on that too. Zach Bolton says, Punisher has a little bit bitty explicit label, but JJ needs that half page. Yes. Yeah. That is weird too, because the new Punisher Max series, it's got this little tiny parental advisory, explicit content right under the issue number on it. It's like, it's so funny, and it really hasn't been that bad neither. I mean, more kind of gory stuff, more so than anything. I'm True Skills, thank you so much for being here. Sith Lord says, damn isms. I know, man. I know. Yeah, welcome to Cyberpunk. Yeah, nothing is new under the sun. That's true, though, because Cyberpunk, it's all kind of about the same. Blaster to Stash It, comics and reviews. Thank you so much for being here. You guys should definitely go check out Blaster to Stash It as well. They got a couple of them guys there together. The Sasquatch and, oh gosh, man, why all of a sudden did I forget his name? I almost said Pedro Pascal. I can't remember the other guy's name all of a sudden, though. But they get on there and they review some of the comic books and things throughout the week. Definitely a cool channel. You guys should go check them out. Just some laid-back dudes talking about comic books. And that's the beauty of the comic book community, is everybody's just so laid back, just talking about comic books, just talking about the things we love. And Blaster to Stash It, you'll probably find them there on the Patreon supporters list as well. Been a supporter for, I think, a couple of months now, for a few months. So yeah, awesome. The Comics Club says, psycho human-like robots? That's new. Isn't it though? Keely Chow, thank you so much for being here. Sith Lord once again. Keep It Real 2020 says, Captain Marvel 2 is going to be brilliant. Can't wait. Well, Brie Larson is great as Captain Marvel. I'll be honest with you, like, to be honest, Brie Larson is great as that version of Captain Marvel. The Captain Marvel that I've been reading in the comic books, like that Carol Danvers, she's perfect at it. I've got to admit that. Whether people out there like that or not is a totally different story. But like, I like the first Captain Marvel movie. It's not the worst movie out there. It's not the best. It's not the worst in the MCU. It's definitely not the best in the MCU. But and like I was saying earlier, my guess is that Captain Marvel 2 is going to be Captain Marvel Civil War 2. I have many reasons for believing that. Many of them have been backed up by the movies that have come out. Many of them are being backed up by the TV shows that are getting ready to come out. And all of the leaks and everything, they're all leading to the same exact thing. They're getting there. We're getting there. Civil War 2 is coming. I'm telling you. It's coming. Perp Mine says, "Aye, lesbians." Sith Lord says, "Bree's boobs look better. I'll give her that." You guys are funny. Chronicles of AJ says, "Who the hell wants to watch Captain Marvel?" Some people out there want to, some people want to watch that. Keep It Real 2020 says, "What I'm looking for is to bring more seats to the table." The Oscar-winning actress said when asked by the interview about the angry response. Yeah, I think we all know that. The video is actually here on YouTube. You can go watch the whole speech and everything that she gave there. No one is getting their chair taken away. There's not less seats at the table. There's just more seats at the table. Right, yeah. I was going to say... I did a video I'm gonna say I maybe did a video talking about that. Maybe I didn't, but yeah, there's you can go look it up too. Go look up Women in Film Brie Larson, and here on YouTube, and go to like the Women in Films like actual YouTube channel, and they have that whole. I mean, you can go out there, you can find the interview that she did before she went up on stage, and you can see the whole thing that she said exactly while she was on stage. So yeah, it's all there. You guys should go check it out. Let's see. More quotes from Keeping It Real 2020. Yeah, I mean, those are all the quotes. I mean, you're not wrong there. You're not wrong there at all. And yeah, and actually, you know what's funny is I've got a video I've been flapping my gums about talking that I'm going to do here very soon, and it's a video called Saving Captain Marvel, because I've got this idea that I want to do called Saving Captain Marvel. But I've got another video that I've got getting ready to probably work on this weekend. We're going to be talking, reached out to some of the comic book community to do this kind of collaboration video. I can't wait for you guys to see that. Lou says, "I haven't seen the first Captain Marvel, but it's not my taste nor made for me." Yeah, that's fair enough. Yeah, certainly a lot of people didn't like it. Some did like it. It really depends on how you feel about it. I mean, more people are turned away by Brie Larson and some comments she made in an interview. I'm not really that worried about it, but some people are hung up on that. I'm more worried about whether the movie is good or not, and that's really about it. Like, is the movie good? That's all I want, is the movie good? And then, when I first saw the movie, I'm like, hey, even now I used to watch the movie, I'm like, hey, the movie itself is good. But what it does to the legacy of the actual Captain Marvel, we got to admit, guys, that was a huge misstep on their part, which is something that I want to cover in my video that I do called Saving Captain Marvel. Snowdub Music and Entertainment, thank you so much for being here. Guessing you had a long week at work, and I cannot wait to see the Ribbit and Bigot show tomorrow night. AJ Chronicles says, "Can't wait till it comes out on Pirate Bay." Pirate Bay, nice. Kermit the Log, how are you doing? Thank you so much for being here. We got the Cotton Connection in here, guys. Baked and Snake says, "Haha, yeah, I still have notes for the Disney Star Wars trilogy. Haven't done anything yet." Yeah, man. Lou says, "That Tommy, happy birthday, mate. Hope you get to have a chill." Dude, it's your birthday, Tommy? Well, happy birthday, Tommy. Everybody, wish Tommy a happy birthday. If it really is your birthday, Tommy, absolutely awesome, man. Happy birthday, dude. Yeah, dude, that's awesome. Happy birthday. My birthday was, well, hey, you know what? You guys will probably never know because I didn't have a birthday celebration stream. I'm probably not going to do a birthday celebration stream because then next thing you know, everybody's going to know my name. They're going to know my birthday. Next thing you know, security numbers, credit card numbers, and hell, the government already knows all that stuff, right? And hey, who's worse to know it than the government? You know what I'm saying? Like, if the government knows your shit, like, that's really about all as bad as it can get. AJ Chronicles of AJ says we don't need a Captain Marvel movie. We need a Silver Surfer movie, and I have a feeling we're gonna get one very soon. Actually, um, let's see. Lou says new Mac Miller songs have come out. It's real sad but good. I don't know Mac Miller. I'm not sure who that is. I'm not sure who that is. Um, let's see. Kermit the Log says I could eat Breeze cheese all day long. I know you could, Kermit the Log, and you would. Zach Bolton says Captain Marvel was 2 hours of clickbait bullshit. Oh man, you guys are cracking me up. Okay, guys, we've gone through quite a bit of the live chats here. Ooh, and it just skipped again. It just skipped again on me. Pokin' Joe, yes. Pokin' Joe, that's the other gentleman there on Blaster Slasher with them. Yeah, and they get together. They have some really good conversations on comic books as well, man. Good stuff, man. Great guys. Crazy Guy Comics Song Too Crazy says Second Street, all YouTubers have something to offer, whether it be little or a lot. We all have to support one another, brother. Absolutely, man. And I'm telling you, a lot of the comic book YouTubers are really great people, man. Like I said, they just get together and they have conversations about comic books. I can't really say I've been on one where people are getting like uncool and fighting with each other and acting like a bunch of Star Wars fans. I haven't really seen that out of comic book YouTubers. Cousin Angel of Yonkers says, "Is that a System of a Down shirt?" No, that is a Stormtroopers of Death shirt. Yes, yes, I'm bigger than Christ and His cross. Yes, yes, I'm bigger. I better not sing it. I better not sing it. Gonna get a content strike and stuff. Terrazon says we were both on Angus's Trinity. Yeah, I know. I seen that, man. I see Angus. Angus getting all the people over there on his channel. Angus is such a lovely man, isn't he? You know, y'all know you love your Angus. Y'all know you love your Angus. Okay, so guys, I'm gonna go ahead and get our guest here on the show. Here, we're gonna get things started. Let me see, make sure that I got this right here, and we'll get our guest on and see how this is doing. Hope I've got all these things set up right here. Ooh, there we go. Think we have got it.
Oh, no. Hold on. I think I screwed something up. Hold on.
Oh, I think.
Call me right back.
Okay,
Oh, wait. I fixed it.
there we go.
Thanks.
All
Alright.
right,
Sorry about that.
no problem. Let me see if I've got this right because I think I don't have things right on my end now. Yeah, I don't. Let me get in here and fix this. Uh, there we go. Is that one it? There we go. There we go. All right.
What is up?
What is up?
Not much. How you doing? Go ahead and introduce yourself to everybody. Let them know. Let them know who you are.
Cool. Well,
Cool. Well, hello everybody in the chat. I know I've talked to you guys a bunch the last few weeks. New to YouTube in general. My name is Adam Douglas. I do a channel called Fanjecture. Some of you probably have heard about it because Trinity keeps talking about it, which is totally, I'm thanking you for evening channel. I don't know. We do right now we do one show on well we used to do it Tuesday nights, but now we're switching to Wednesday. It's a weekly tournament bracket show, and we basically take a topic and we pick 8 things from that topic. We call it Debate 8, and then the viewers vote live for each matchup until we get down to one thing. So like last week we did the top grossing movies of 2019, and that was a pretty fun one where Endgame actually ended up being the winner over Joker, which is pretty cool. It was a fun night. A lot of people had fun.
Yeah,
It
yeah,
was cool.
definitely. Had a yeah. I was gonna say. I know. I was on the stream just the other day, and when you were doing that, but like I was still watching the little graph that you had going on, and got somewhat involved there. Still, it was fun.
Yeah, it was cool. Yeah, it's getting better now that people are like jumping in and participating, and we're at 25 subscribers, which I know sounds totally low. Just started 5 weeks ago, but it's cool. The more people that participate and talk and vote, it actually makes the show better with better conversation. And that's totally what it's all about. Is just getting people's thoughts on these movies and these matchups.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
dig.
and like I said, it was definitely a good time. Something, if you guys aren't already, make sure you go check out Fanjexer's channel, man, because what they're doing there is like I said, it's kind of like these getting these brackets together of like, I don't know, what did you say, like the like basketball brackets and things like that.
Oh yeah, it's totally. It's basically what I wanted to do. Oh, I loved like the March Madness tournament bracket, and for like movie channels, I've always noticed in the years past that like every March, channels do their own version of the March Madness tournament. But what they do is they spread it like a 4 or 5 week period, because you do a survey monkey, and then you got to wait for the surveys to come in, and you do all that stuff. Um, so we worked really hard. Me and my partner, my cousin Alan, we worked really hard on our website so that we could just work on it and do it live. That way, we didn't have to, pause and wait and do one video and one video and one video. So we just get going. But it's, we're really proud of what we did. So we'll see. We'll see if it works out and people like it. Before you go, I saw a comment. Biden Touch said he cloned himself. OMG, which is pretty hilarious.
Oh yeah, that was, yeah, probably through here working with this OBS, man, and it's acting up on me right now. As a matter of fact, it's sometimes doing these live streams and everything. It can be very fun, as you might well imagine.
Well, I mean, we could switch to whatever that site's called like this. It's fine. Whatever's good for you.
Yeah, yeah, no, this is fine. It's just sometimes right now because I don't like the screen's kind of jumping around because I'm kind of moving different
Uh,
things around here, and I don't know, man. It acts up. It acts
Here's
up.
I want to show you something. Okay, I prepared for this because uh, one of the reasons why I watch your shows and your channel is for the
Hmm.
comic stuff, for sure. Obviously, you're very knowledgeable about that, which is awesome. It's great for that community. I'm pretty much a normie when it comes to comics. Like I've definitely read comics in my life, but the thing that I like about your channel is I get informed series and new comics or things that I may not even read, but I like being in the know.
Hmm.
So here's what I want to do. You presented some comics. I want to present some comics as a normie. I want to show you the first two comics I ever bought as a
All
kid.
right, let's do
Okay.
it.
Uh, they're gonna show up a little weird because I'm using a green screen, so it might be a little see-throughish, but and they have no value, absolutely no value. This is more like personal value for me. So we'll see if anybody's okay. These really old school crappy comics. So I got the Spectacular Spider-Man giant size 200th issue, which has the spoiler alert, the death of Norman Osborn right there, which
Nice.
is pretty cool. Okay, so that was number one, and then the one that swept the nation. Obviously, I'm sure everyone has a copy of this. Superman. Those were the first two comics I bought, and that's coming from a normie. So there you go.
Nice. Nice.
But I want to represent a little bit, show you that I had something at some point. But anyway,
Yeah, and like me, I just got back into reading comics. I want to say just a little under 2 years ago. So I got some left over from when I was a kid, and some that my dad had got when he was when he was in the military and everything. And I actually got a copy of an actual copy of Incredible Hulk 181, which is like in the nerd world, what that means is that's the first appearance of Wolverine, like actual
right.
appearance of Wolverine.
Yeah, you just talked about it the other day.
Yeah, so it's pretty cool, but I'm telling you, like, it's in like the worst condition ever. It's in the worst condition possible.
Well, I actually have these DC like kid
Hmm.
comics that I'm going to give to my kids. And I personally, I don't care what condition they are in. If they destroy it because they're reading it cover to cover, like get more out of that than keeping it pristine. And that's
Right.
that's really what I care about,
Yeah. Yeah.
because it's cool. I want them to really get into it.
Definitely. Yeah. I mean, trying to get raise them and get them into these nerdy things is definitely a good thing, for sure. Um, So what was it that made you guys like start your channel and everything? Like I said, I know the one of the first times I heard of you was through the John Campea show and some like ads that you guys had run on there, some sponsored ads, which kind of a good big place to get some attention at.
Yeah, it was, but it was actually for something different too, because we had started a website for like the whole concept of the company that we started was, and company, it's two people, so whatever. It was that we wanted to like I have so not only do I love movies and films and television and whatnot, but I'm also a big sports guy. So we wanted to sort of introduce, some sports world elements into film fandom because gaming and competition and all that kind of stuff is fun. Like that's why, like I'm a big box office
Mm-hmm.
guy, and it's numbers, it's tracking, it's all sorts of like cool stuff like that. So we started the first thing we ever did was we launched the website and we made a game called Fantasy Film Book, which was basically a fake, not for betting, not for real money, but for play for we made like a sports book for box office results, and we matched up movies and we did spreads and totals and like this whole thing, and it was really cool, and a lot of people jumped on, but it didn't really like catch on, and we found out that the point of entry to get people to accept like a gambling game, even though there was no gambling,
Mm-hmm.
people weren't really like rolling with that, which was fine. So then we just sort of pivoted over to some of the video ideas we had, like Debate 8 and what we're doing now. So yeah, we started on Campia, but I love rolling over to YouTube now. It's great. It's been a lot
Yeah, yeah,
more.
definitely, definitely. Yeah, so yeah, I was
It's
gonna
a
say
crazy
like
week of news, huh?
huh?
Crazy week with news, huh?
Yeah, yeah, a whole lot of things going on. I mean, first we think we're out of Star Wars, and then then lo and behold, we get more Star Wars news. Then we get all this Black Widow stuff, and just all kinds of just yeah, all kinds of things. We got the Morbius trailer. Just yeah, everything going on, man. It's just crazy.
I don't even Kenobi news because there's so many different angles of people saying what they've heard and what
Mm-hmm.
they haven't heard. Den of Nerds earlier, and Josh, he was saying that he heard from Jason from Making Star Wars that it was true, but that it's actually, you know, being converted to a movie, which totally makes sense, by the way. If that's true, um, my guess, okay, and this is so I've worked in television industry for almost 10 years, so I take this with a grain of salt in that I know a lot about what goes on behind the scenes,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm not going to sit here and claim to know everything.
Right.
I have that film that it was really not because they didn't have confidence in it, it was more because I bet that the production cost to do this show was starting to become way more than they thought was that they could handle for a television.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you think about it, it's the the special effects for what an Obi-Wan show would be has got to be way bigger than Mandalorian. So it's I think what happened was they were writing the script and they're getting through it and they're saying this is ballooning, this is getting too big. So in order to recoup the money that they are going to put into it, got to bump it up to a movie.
Right.
That's what I think. I could be totally wrong, but that's sort of my gut feeling on why they're moving.
Yeah, it sounds like. I mean, certainly sounds like a good reason too. And plus, I mean, I think it's one of those movies that kind of people really want to see too. On probably something more big screen as well, because like especially after. Thank you, Mike W. Rogers, for subscribing. Another thing is because like after the Solo movie, like they gotta do something to kind of step up and give us like some solo character movies done in a better fashion. And I've got to admit, like I actually like the Solo movie. It's not too bad, but it was a movie that it didn't do too great. And there's just to me the biggest problem with it was that there's just too many hands on it. I think for me, I
Yeah.
think they should have just let Phil Lord and Chris Miller finish the dang
Yes.
movie and and
Yes.
and moved on with just to recoup their costs, because then you stop the production, you go out and you pay Ron Howard even more money, so you're paying and you're still paying Phil Lord and Chris Miller in the first place, and now you're paying Ron Howard on top of that, and you're just adding more, and then just I don't know. It just seems like it would have been a smarter idea for them to just cut their losses at the time and just be like, let's just let these guys finish the movie, hope it's good, and then look what they end up bringing to us in Spider-Man. God, why all of a sudden forget about it? Into the Spider-Verse.
Right.
So
Yeah, I totally agree. I thought that, look, I was okay when they said, when the reports came out that said Lord and Miller were making like the Jim Carrey, or not the Ace Ventura of Star Wars movies, and I was like, I don't know if I really want that. And then we saw Solo, and I don't, man, for me, I was bored out of my mind in that movie. Like I saw it twice in the theater, and I couldn't like, I don't walk out of movies, but it really tested my patience the second time I saw it. I was just like, this is so boring. It was just so bland. There was like not, it's forgettable
yeah,
to me. And so I was like, after that, I was like, I really wish they would have given Lord and Miller, and I would have loved to have seen what they did with it.
yeah, yeah, definitely. I think they could have brought, I mean, just their brand of humor and everything. You know what? And to me, I think their brand of humor and what they do with things works a lot better in the Star Wars universe than like Taika Waititi with all these rumors that are floating around about him, possibly getting a Star Wars movie as well. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I'm so torn on that because, technically he's a great
Mm-hmm.
director. He doesn't make bad movies,
Right.
but to me, I don't know. I didn't love Thor Ragnarok. I liked it a lot, but I didn't love it. Um, the Mandalorian episode that he did, I got really worried at the beginning with the basically SNL skit that they did.
Right.
And like it was funny, isolated on its own. Like it's funny. Like that would have been a great like YouTube video, like a great 5-minute YouTube
Right.
video. But I don't know. It felt out of place, sort of. And that's the only thing that worries me about Taika Waititi is the humor. Now,
Right.
the flip side of that, like the devil's argument of my own argument, is Star Wars needs what Marvel has, not in the comedy, but like to mix up what Star Wars is. Like a lot of us are stuck in this idea of Star Wars needs to be a thing. And I get it because we've only really had 9 movies and they've been spread out so far apart that it doesn't really feel like we've been seeing the same thing over and over
Mm-hmm.
again. Time they got to like um, you know, uh, Winter Soldier, by the time we got there, we were ready for something new. So then when Winter Soldier came out, it was like a breath of fresh air because it was this political, thriller. And it was like then all of a sudden the genre exploded with, oh, let's do a comedy version. Let's do, a psychedelic movie with Doctor Strange. But Star Wars is weird because like we sort of want new stuff, but we're not ready for it. So it's gonna be tough. And to be honest, though, I don't even know if this is gonna happen. I mean, I saw the tweet that he put out. I think it was a tweet or Instagram that he put out of the cover rumors from Fleetwood
Yeah.
Mac. So I don't even know if this is happening. So I guess we'll see.
Yeah. Which that's a good album too. Anybody out there watching?
Right.
The Rumors album is a good album. You should like Fleetwood Mac. Fleetwood Mac are awesome. Just in case you guys didn't know. But let's see what anybody if anybody has any questions that you would like to ask Fanjecture, let me know. And what was your name again? I forget.
Adam.
Adam, and that should be easy for me to remember from now on because that's I can't really say why that should be easy for me to remember, but it will be.
Okay. I'm with you. I got you.
But yeah, if you guys have any questions you'd like to ask Adam, let us know down in the comments below. Lonely Banter says
I
hashtag
can't believe
boycott Fanjecture.
he's so mad right now.
Oh, Lonely Banter's
So
a
mad.
hilarious dude, man. He's mad because you know what? Like we were streaming last weekend, and I was like, oh yeah, we'll do a stream together on Tuesday, and I completely forgot on Tuesday. Like I was out of my normal routine from I guess being lazy dad through the winter because my kids had to return to school, and this is all
Yeah.
just a bunch of excuses to say that I'm an asshole and I forgot I was supposed to stream with LB on Tuesday.
I do got to say one thing real quick that I'm surprised there's a piece of news you didn't
Oh.
bring up. The semi-announcement that National Treasure 3 is coming. Come
Is
on.
there really?
How are you not excited about this?
That's
Yes.
I did not
So-
know that.
What, okay, so there's an article that came out. they greenlit Bad Boys 4 because Bad Boys 3 is doing so well at the box office.
Wow.
And hidden in that article, in like the third paragraph, said that the writer of who's writing Bad Boys, who wrote Bad Boys 3, will be writing Bad Boys 4, is writing a script treatment for National Treasure 3.
Oh wow.
It trended on Twitter.
Huh.
It was in the top 10 trending. It's amazing.
Wow. That's not too
I can't
bad.
be alone, right? I'm looking at the chat. Come on, I can't be alone with National Treasure.
Yeah,
3.
no, like that's cool because
Exactly.
those are some of, yeah, I love those movies, the two National Treasure movies. I mean, and plus, who couldn't who could turn down Nick Cage in a conspiracy theory movie,
I'm telling you, we're about to enter the Nick Cage song.
right?
It's happening. It's gonna happen.
Keanu had his year, dang it.
He's done. We had the McConaissance, we had the Keanu-sans, and now it's the Cage-sans. It's
Yeah.
coming.
Yeah, it could be, man, because yeah, he's had a string of lackluster films. We'll just be nice and say lackluster films.
You know, it's weird though. A lot of lackluster films, B movies, but like almost cult classics, or not classic, but cult following. It's very weird. It's very strange.
Yeah, definitely. And there's a lot of movies that are like that too. They're like, like they're like some of the lowest budget movies, not very popular movies, but man, the people that love those movies, boy, do they love those movies.
Oh yeah, yeah. There's a big following for them.
Wolf Warner says, "I love the bracket vibe. I'm in." Yeah, make sure, like I said, make sure you definitely go check it out.
Man.
Kyle Carter says it sounds good. Let's see.
Yeah, we're going Wednesday. We're going to be doing Guy Ritchie films. The Gentleman's coming out.
Okay, so you're going on Wednesday then instead of Tuesday.
Yeah, we're going Wednesday. I got some things around the house that, and my wife is starting to work on Tuesday night, so I'm bumping it to Wednesday. And like I told you, there's a lot of people who are streaming on Tuesday nights, including you. You stream on Tuesday nights now, so
Yeah.
so I'm trying to keep the playing field a little bit wide open here.
Yeah, that works too. Because there, it seems like lately there are a lot of shows on Tuesday nights now. But yeah, the definitely Wednesdays works good because then I don't really have, like, even like when I take my kids to karate class, I can sit there with the earphones on and sit there and be interacting there on the show. That was definitely fun. Like I said, I was kind of on the other stream, but just getting that more interactive, because I know I went back and I watched one of the videos that you had done the week before with the bracket thing, and I was like, oh man, like, and I seen nobody else was on there, but still entering votes. I mean, because that's the thing is, like, when you're doing a show and you're a small channel like that, like when I first started, you still got to go anyway. You still got to act like 10 million people are watching. You know what I mean?
It's tough.
Yeah,
and I used to do the show on Twitch too, and that was because originally our voting system worked better on Twitch. And that was even harder because the algorithm on Twitch sucks. It's terrible. So like there were a lot of episodes I was doing, and I was basically doing it myself, which is, so I got used to it.
Right. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, and that's the thing is, I mean, you still got to go. You don't have an audience. You still got to act like everybody's watching. The show must go on, and and at the same time, I know that can be frustrating too, because you're sitting like, oh, come on, man, somebody watch or something. But I mean, like I said, just keep going on, and don't let that stop you, because eventually somebody will show up and start watching and take interest in it, and well, hopefully like me, like I seen it, and I was like, oh, well, holy crap, like, dude, this is awesome. So I want to tell everybody about it. So when I go on this show, I have other people to interact with. I don't want to just go on there and just be, I mean, even if it's only 2 other people, hey, that's still cool. But like, why not get 15, 20, 100 different people there to interact in that kind of thing?
Yeah, and the thing is, like, even if you have 1,000 people watching you, every episode you do, you always have to act like it's somebody's first time.
Right.
So it doesn't matter if it's 0 or 1,000. It's somebody new is going to be watching. So you have to make it so that it's new for them too.
Right. Definitely. Alpha Proto here says, I don't have money to buy comics at the moment. I hear you, Alpha Proto. You know what? Message me, Alpha Proto. I've got so far I've got you, and who else did I say here? I was talking to, it was, man, is he still here? I know I was talking to him earlier. Yeah, Zach Bolton. I told him to get a hold of me. I
got a tip too. It's probably not yours, because I know you said before you never heard of Hoopla.
Mm-hmm.
So I use Hoopla right now. I used to use Marvel Unlimited, but I do Hoopla. If you're into digital comics, Hoopla is a direct download app that you can, tablet, phone, whatever, and it hooks up directly to your local library. So if you actually have a local library in your area and you sign up and those are free, it works through your library. So you can get all the titles, everything for free. Library. I think you get like 5 at a time or something like that. Like there's a limit. You can't get like everything, but like you read. If I usually go for the graphic novels because they take a little longer, or the trade. I usually go trade paperbacks just to keep it going longer. But you can do that too if you have a library and you like and you're okay with digital. Do try look up Hoopla.
Nice. Yeah, I'll have to do that. I mean, me, I like the physical copies, but hey, believe me, a lot of times with my comic books, I redeem the digital copy and I read them digitally, even and so I don't have to mess with the floppies. Even though I'm not a collector, yeah, I'm still acting like one. My books are bagged and boarded, and I don't know, man. It's a weird thing. It's a weird thing.
No. I hey man, if I could do it, I would do it for sure.
Yes, I was gonna say it's an expensive habit, kind of like being a cyclist. Oof. Rev Kev, thank you so much for being here. Terrazon, Kyle Carter, how are you doing today? Cousin Angel of Yonkers says Alpha Proto, me too. I rely to Marvel Unlimited. Yes, definitely. Wolf Warner says I would have totally played that fantasy film game. I love fantasy sports. Yes, absolutely, absolutely. Like I said, cool stuff. Go check out
Thanks, man.
Fanjecture.
We got other plans coming too. So if you follow the channel, eventually we got other games coming too.
Yeah, definitely, man. And like I said, if you're doing like stuff revolving around movies and things, even if you did like some live streams, just kind of like we're doing here, get other people involved and just having conversations. I guess sometimes probably a whole.
Yeah.
Of course, sometimes it's kind of hard when you're mixing up content and everything too on different channels as well. So yeah. Zach Bolton says, "Yeah, I'm reading X Force and want to read all the current X series, but that adds up fast. It absolutely does, especially when there's six titles that come out, and it seems like they want to drop like 3 or 4 of them at the same time.
How are you feeling about the X stuff right now?
I'm loving it. I'm loving it. There are some of the titles like I don't like as much, like Excalibur. The story is cool. I like the story going on, but I don't like the writing of the characters. Just the way they interact with each other, the way they talk, just kind of like I don't know. And then it's really bad in New Mutants. The New Mutants, the story that's been going on it's okay. It hasn't really been leading anywhere, but the characters, like their interactions, are like it's New Mutants, so naturally they're younger mutants, and man, they act like some teenage kids, man. I'm telling you, it's pretty bad. Like people on Twitter, they're acting like people on Twitter.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, let's see. Even Kyle Carter says National Treasure 3. Nice. Yeah, I think that would be cool because those were some really good movies, and that's something else too. They've been trying to redo like the Mummy movies and stuff like that. And I gotta tell you, what? Those are some movies to me that seem to hold up. Like those original Brendan Fraser movies, like the first. Well, I think what was there 3 of them? I like those movies.
Um, I like the first one for sure. I thought the first one was a lot of fun.
Yeah. And
But then when you get to the Scorpion King, by the time you get to
yeah.
that one,
And haven't they done like 2 or 3 of those Scorpion King movies too?
oh, I don't know,
I think
maybe
they've done a couple.
like direct the DVD, maybe.
Yeah, like no, just no with those. Um, let's see. Rev Kev says that's a pretty good theory. Oh man, what theory was it? Dang it, I don't know. Sometimes I flap my guns too long. I forget about what I just talked about. Lou says, I just sussed the first issue of Space Riders, Vortex of Darkness. I really enjoyed it. Keen to see where it goes. I haven't seen that. Never heard of that. Interesting. Something I've been waiting on is Preston Poulter from Pocket Jacks Comics is getting ready to do Guinevere and the Divinity Factory issue 2. I just backed a little campaign he did on that, so can't wait to get that in.
Nice. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's some indie comic books, like just from creators doing crowdfunding stuff. So,
Yeah.
I haven't really backed a whole lot of those. As a matter of fact, I think Preston Poulter is the only one I've backed, just because he seems to have his stuff together, delivers on time, delivers a good product. So, if I can find more of those, I'd probably be more apt to order some of them. And some of the stuff that I've noticed with it too is some of the smaller creators, like I didn't know at first. Like I was on Black Angus's stream with some other creators called Zaid Comics, and they've got a YouTube channel here too. and theirs was going for like, I want to say it was like $25 or something. Like, I was like, man, $25, that's a lot of money, dude. Like, I don't even know you, man. You like $25, and I think it's their first book and stuff. I'm like, man, but then I found out later. I went to their Kickstarter and found out. I think it was Kickstarter and found out, but like what they're doing, it's a trade paperback, so it's going to be a little bit thicker of a book.
Okay.
So I'm like, okay, so I feel a little bit better about this. Not just like one little issue that's maybe
Like
30
30
pages or
pages.
something. Instead, they're doing something a little bit bigger, so that's pretty cool.
Right.
And maybe something that they had said previously that I didn't really understand neither. Um, let's see. Rev Kev says, I love the first National Treasure. Nick Cage needs a comeback movie. Definitely. Definitely. Sith Lord says, then peep it, Tommy. And Scott Pilgrim versus the World. You should dig him, bro. Oh, okay. Yeah, I was going to say, that's one of those movies I haven't seen, is Scott Pilgrim versus the World.
Really?
Yeah, I haven't seen that. And
You should watch it. I think you like it.
I was going to say, I've heard everybody say that it's a really good movie.
Yeah, it's fun.
Alpha Proto says, just because they write a movie doesn't mean it will be made. There are lots of scripts and still haven't been made, like Johnny Quest and Doc Samson. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess getting the movie written is the first step, I guess.
And to piggyback on that, the whole thing with the Captain Marvel 2 writer, like, she is or isn't. A lot of scripts get like 4, 5, 6 writers on them that you never even hear of.
Right.
They just do touch ups and they punch up the scripts, and that's literally all their job is. They're unknown writers that you've never heard of, and they give it a pass and they put their little flair on it, and that's it, and then it moves on. So it's very possible that she was a writer on it, but it doesn't mean she is the writer as well.
For me,
So,
one of the big things is like she pretty much launched this current iteration of Carol Danvers Captain Marvel in Marvel Comics anyway. So I mean, regardless of anything, she would be somewhat involved in it because, I mean, it's not necessarily her character IP, but it is like the character that she basically took on and developed over a certain amount of time. So yeah,
and it could just be story credit too. Like,
yeah. And Terrazon is here. She says, "No Taika." Yeah, I know she feels the same way about that as I do. I'm not really into seeing Taika Waititi come into. Like I said, he's got a certain brand of humor and stuff, and that worked. It worked for Ragnarok. It really did. I like that. In that sense, it really works good. I mean, you could say the same thing about Rian Johnson. Like in the scope of what he does for his movies, he does a good job. But for what he did in The Last Jedi, I'm kind of like, I don't know so much.
Yeah.
But I don't know. How do you feel about? How do you? Ooh, maybe that's a hot button subject. How do you feel about The Last Jedi or the sequel trilogy altogether?
I've liked the Secret Trilogy less as time goes on. I don't think I walked out of any with any extreme hatred. When I saw The Force Awakens, I did, but the more I watched that one in particular, that actually got worse for me each time I watched it. And I don't know, like I don't hate any of it. They're all competently made. Forget story. Let's talk about technical movies.
Mm-hmm.
Cinematography, music, editing, all that stuff. As far as a movie goes, I mean, I'm almost 40 years old. I've forgotten more movies than a lot of people have seen. So I've seen a lot of bad movies in my life. So there are worse movies in the world. Now, that being said, the whole fact that they didn't have a complete story from the beginning was a terrible disservice for what they were doing. And the way I see it is they were stuck, right? And because having this idea of forcing them to do a trilogy is the worst thing that you could handcuff people to do. Like you're automatically saying no matter what, we have to do 7, 8, 9, and it was a real disservice. But the problem was they were handcuffed in doing 7, 8, 9, but they didn't treat it like they were doing a trilogy. They were just treating it the Marvel way, where they're just making a movie and continuing a story. And you can't do that when you give people autonomous control over the story, and you're supposed to wrap it up in 3, which is why the last one was a big mess,
Right.
which is why especially with this script that came out from Robert
Yeah.
Meyer Burnett. And I mean, they were all over the place. They really had no idea what they were doing,
Y-
which is sad. But I don't hate Star Wars.
Yeah.
I don't hate Star Wars. I want it to be
Yeah.
better.
I'm right there with you too. Like I feel the same way. Like for me, and I like the Force Awakens. I like. I actually like the Force Awakens. Even even to this day, after subsequent watches and everything, I really do like the Force Awakens. For me, like I said, like even the Last Jedi, I like. It's not a great movie though. To me, like it's shot beautiful. I mean, there's like the cinematography and everything. In it. Like there's like I mean, it's a beautiful movie to watch, but there are just
Yeah.
things in the story that to me just like they just don't work well. And for me, the biggest thing I know, many people complain about Ray being a Mary Sue, about Luke Skywalker and what it did to his character and stuff like that. And I get that, and I totally see those arguments. I get that. But for me, like the one thing that its biggest downfall is that it didn't build on what they did in The Force Awakens. That
No.
like they didn't develop any of those characters within The Force Awakens. So naturally, you watch The Force Awakens and you get to The Last Jedi and Rey's doing what she does in there. Sure, people are gonna say that she's a Mary Sue because like all of a sudden like she's kind of using Jedi powers and stuff like that, and like just all of these different things because they didn't develop her story like they did like Luke, where he went to train with Yoda and things like that. So you knew he was getting some training. And then like you said, you jump to Rise of Skywalker. Then all of a sudden, now she's getting training, like in this movie, like like
Right.
like it's
So
just kind of a
with the
mess.
yeah, with the exception of having to know that Luke died in The Last Jedi, you literally could not you could skip that movie and go from 7 to 9 and not miss
Right,
anything.
right,
That's how they
yeah,
treated it.
and that, honestly, that's a bad thing.
Yeah, when you're doing a
Yeah,
trilogy, it definitely is. If you're, but you
yeah,
know,
because
I don't know. It's
yeah,
frustrating. It's frustrating because before The Force Awakens came out, man, the fandom was so high and so together, and now it's
yeah,
not. And I do appreciate channels like yours where you're trying to bridge the gap that
mm-hmm,
happened for sure. And I know there's a lot of people. There's three sides to the fandom now. There's the sides that are hardcore love everything that's come out.
mm-hmm,
There's the hardcore side that hates everything that's come out, and there's the side in the center. People like you, people like me, who just want to watch good Star Wars.
right,
I'm not, and it's not about not taking a stance on one way or the other because, like, I empathize and sympathize with both sides because I can see,
right,
I don't necessarily agree with some of the tactics on both sides
right,
for sure,
yeah,
but I can see both sides where some things are good and some things are not good
yeah.
for sure.
And sometimes I've been thinking about this too. I think sometimes as fans, I mean, obviously we have high expectations, especially for something like this has been around for so long. But sometimes I think we as fans, we get our expectations so high and we want what we expect so much that no matter what we would be given, we're not going to be happy with it.
Yeah.
You know, like that's not gonna make me happy no matter what you do. So you could like I was talking about this morning, like with people like the EU fans, people that really want like the EU and they want to see the EU, but like I feel like you guys already hate what Disney has done with Star Wars. Would you trust them with the EU to bring it into continuity and do that at this point? If they did it, and even if they did it good, would you be willing to accept it at this point? And I feel that a lot of the people wouldn't. And I could be wrong
I
there.
agree. And so, but here's the thing that I wonder at what point that they will, because they have to. You have to accept it because I'm here to tell you, Disney Star Wars is not going anywhere. It doesn't matter. I mean, yes, eventually Kathleen Kennedy will not be in charge.
Right.
It's going to happen. Sooner or later, she's going to move on. But Disney will own Star Wars until we are all dead. Like that's
Oh yeah.
happening.
Yeah, for sure.
Like it's never going
No.
away. So you have to figure out if you are completely against Disney Star Wars, but you still love Star Wars and you want to see better, more and better Star Wars. You have to decide for yourself at what is your point that you will get back on, because if not, then you're just going to spend the rest of your life hating Star
Right.
Wars. And as a Star Wars fan, I don't think you want to do
Right.
that.
Yeah.
So it's a personal thing for
It
everyone.
is. Yeah, it is, and I get it. I get it too, and that's the one thing that's nice to see. I mean, really, out of even with all the discourse and everything, is that at least people are passionate about it, and they're still passionate about it. Um, it just
Mm.
sucks as a fan knowing that. I mean, aside from us bitching about it, there's not really much we can do because it's not like you just write a script and go submit it to them, and they're gonna be like, "Oh, hey, great, let's take a look at your script." That's because that's just not how it
Right.
works.
No, no. And don't be surprised when they, replace Kathleen Kennedy and it's not John Favreau.
Yeah, yeah, oh yeah.
That's
I don't expect it to be, and I honestly myself
mm,
I don't want it to be John Favreau. I think John Favreau is a great filmmaker. He's a great director. He's a great writer. He's a great actor. Not the greatest, but he's great at what he does. Um,
yeah,
I think he's got more to offer us than just Star Wars movies, and I'd hate to see him doing just Star Wars. And because if you step into that role, that's what you're doing. You're not doing any of your small independent films, any of that kind of. That's over. Like you're committed to this.
yeah. And he's got other interests.
Yeah.
I mean, first of all, he's got the Chef Show on Netflix that's crushing it right now. And at one point, he was gonna do this like theme park, like Disney theme park movie where
Hmm.
like it came to life at night, and I don't know, it's like this weird like semi like horror movie. I don't know, it's very weird, but
That'd be cool.
so yeah,
Sounds cool.
he's got other,
Yeah.
and I
Let's
know
see.
he loves Star Wars. We all know he loves Star Wars. You can tell by the Mandalorian,
Oh yeah, for
but
sure, for sure. Let's get here into the chat. Says JJW says Excalibur art is awesome, though the story is okay. Yeah, I agree. I agree. He says Fallen Angels is a bit disappointing. I really had high hopes for that book. I absolutely agree there. Me, I like the story. The art in it is so off-putting that like they just need a new artist for that. Zach Bolton says Twitter war mutants. JJW says, "What is funny is the movie speculation hype. Books just spike on news. With Disney Plus, there will be speculation fatigue very soon." I don't know, man, because like me, the more I hear about it, these things, these shows and everything, I begin to speculate like crazy. Sometimes I lose sleep at night.
I mean, you would think Disney news fatigue would have stopped, but it's what 4 years and going now,
Yeah.
so I don't think so.
Yeah. Sith Lord says, "Damn, I just noticed I was like 3 minutes behind." It says, "You need to see it, Second Street." Oh man, must have been talking about a movie we mentioned. Zach Bolton says, "I strongly prefer trade paperbacks. Maybe it spoiled the streaming era, but I don't want to wait and or grab the next book every 6 minutes." Oh yeah, I hear you. Like I like trade paperbacks too. There are just some stories out there when I'm reading them, I'm like, oh, like I can't wait for the trade paperback. I need to read these each book as they're coming out, man.
Yeah, I'm the opposite. I only read trades because I like because I'll breeze a single book like super quick, like spreading it out, like knowing like okay, I read a bunch, but I still have a whole bunch more to go. That's
Right. Yeah. And then that works too, and that's the nice thing about going back and reading old stories. You know, like ones like not current ones. Like you can be like, stuff that came out a year ago. Like okay, I can go buy a couple of those, buy one of these at a time, one of this, these different ones, different series,
hmm
and read them and just kind of move on. And then eventually, at some point, you might catch up. But the value of them is certainly better than buying the floppies for sure. And
Now, when you do trades, do you do hardcover or do you do
I
paperback?
usually do. I usually do the paperback unless there's one that
Mhm.
particularly interests me, and if depending on how much more or less that it is. Like if I was going after some of the old classic stuff like the Infinity Gauntlet and stuff like that, I'd probably try to find that in a hard book in a hardcover, because I know
Okay.
DC's Deceased just came out in a hardcover, and that one would be worth getting because I thought that was a pretty good story.
Cool.
It's kind of like just like the zombie thing going on there. It was pretty good. Um, And yeah, you know what's funny? Speaking of trade paperbacks, I seen a I seen an article the other day. Man, this is the lows that people go to for clicks and views, man. Or just these weirdos out there. The title was like, what was it? Trade paperbacks are gentrified comics.
Okay.
Yeah, and I'm like, oh man. I didn't even I didn't even click on the article to read it. I'm just like, no, just no. I'm not. We're not gonna go there.
Everyone's got an opinion. It's like
Everyone's got. I saw the other day or like last week. It was like Forky is village. And I'm just like,
Yeah,
why? Because he's a white spork? I don't like. It makes no
yeah.
sense.
Weirdos, man. That's what I always boil it down to is weirdos. Um, uh, JJW says the last Jedi was so bad, just the way they treated Luke's character. Yeah, and you know I hear a lot of people say that, but for me, I kind of always thought like in the first two, like in A New Hope and The Empire Strikes Back, to me like he was just kind of a whiny kid at those times. To me, it was just really more like a regression of the character, more so than just completely trashing it. Because you know then he kind of manned up once you get to Return of the Jedi, you know.
He did, but you know what the funny thing about Return of the Jedi is, and the original trilogy as a whole. Do you know how long Luke Skywalker was a Jedi for in those movies? Like maybe
Yeah.
5 minutes, because Yoda even says you're not Vader. So until Vader dies, that's the moment that he becomes a Jedi. So 95% of those movies, he's not even a Jedi,
Right. Yeah.
which is crazy. Which is why I'm not a big fan of the title Return of the Jedi,
Right.
because unless in some backwards way, Return of the Jedi actually means Return of Anakin being the Jedi because he returned,
Right.
but Luke didn't actually return as a Jedi. I don't know. It's very nitpicky. I know,
Good.
but
Good point.
I get on that.
Good point. Kyle Carter says the Force Unleashed and Fallen Order are perfect examples. Oh man, I must have missed something he said there. Um,
Probably good examples of Star Wars.
hmm?
Probably good examples of Star Wars.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah, and yeah, the games. Yeah, and both of those games are good too.
Hmm.
Zach Bolton says I'm slowly buying all 20 Spawn Origins. It's fun to search the world for the next couple books while I'm reading the ones I have. Certainly, certainly. And that's the cool thing, like I said, about those digital services too, because you can go back and read whatever until you know something good comes along that you're waiting on or anything like that. Definitely. Kyle Carter says Knights of the Old Republic 1 and 2 are excellent. I've never played
Yeah.
those. I'm not a big
Really?
gamer or anything.
Yeah. So they're fun. They're to me. I always sucked at them, so I wasn't huge on them, even though I know a lot of people are. But if you're into like I always tell this to people. I highly recommend reading the John Jackson Miller run of Knights of the Old Republic. It's one of my favorite EU Star Wars comic runs. It's about this Jedi. This is right at the beginning, so it's not really a spoiler. It's about a young Jedi who is not living up to his potential, and he becomes late to his own graduation ceremony with his class, and he walks in to find his murdered all the Padawans at the graduation ceremony, and then all of a sudden he has to go on the run because he's being blamed for the murder. That's just where it starts, and it's so awesome. And you actually get the introduction. Revan, he's in there, and Darth Malak. It's actually Alec. Before he becomes Darth Malak, it's his sort of like backstory. It's really good. So if you're into comics, obviously most of your audience is, and you're into Knights of the Old Republic, definitely give that a read for sure.
Definitely, definitely. Huh. Interesting. Yeah, and yeah, I was gonna say I know somebody was telling me a while back that apparently like nowadays like the comic books that are coming out are canon to the actual Star Wars universe. So um,
Yeah, it's all connected, and it's all a
yeah,
mess. Like, well, okay, I shouldn't say it's a mess. It was such a massive undertaking for them to decide to do that, and and it's like I'm glad that they did it, but on the other hand, like I feel like a lot of the stories are like
hmm,
handcuffed. because they have to be in like a specific time period and they follow a specific story. So I don't
Right.
know. It's like a lot of the comics, like a lot of the Vader stuff has been really good, and the Doctor Aphra stuff that's been really good. So
Yeah, I was gonna say I've heard the Doctor Aphra series was actually pretty good, and yeah, I know Darth Vader. Of course, he's always popular, and there's the one that they did not too long ago. I've been talking about. I still haven't checked it out yet, but it's called Vader Dark Visions, and
yeah.
apparently, it was there's 5 issues, but they said each one of them, like, you could have hopped on at any time because each one is basically like a one shot, basically just showing how out of his mind Anakin was during those times. Just some
Oh
crazy
yeah,
stories that happened, and it sounded really interesting when I heard about them.
definitely.
But well, we're getting here a quarter till 10 o'clock. Go ahead and let everybody know. I want to say thanks for coming on, and yeah, definitely make
Oh
sure you
yeah.
guys go check out Fanjexer's channel, man. They're doing Adam's channel at Fanjexer. Really great stuff. Yeah, go ahead and let them know once again where they can come find you and exactly what you're doing.
Thanks, man. Yeah, you guys, if you want to subscribe to the channel, I mean, if you do, cool. We do tournament bracket, movie topic, related shows. It's live, it's, audience participation, it's voting, it's cool stuff. We do it. We're gonna start doing it on Wednesdays now, Wednesday nights 9 Eastern. So what's that? Six Pacific, for anyone out there. Yeah, and we do around in the chats. If you see me, say hi, and yeah, it's been a blast, man. I'll definitely sure, and I gotta get you on my show and so, talk some movies.
Yeah, definitely. We'll get that sorted out sometime soon, man. Um, But yeah, man, thanks. It's been fun. Like
Cool.
I said, guys, definitely go check out the channel. The more people we get there, the more fun it will be next Wednesday. I'll go ahead and probably do a reminder maybe on Wednesday morning or something and let everybody know so we can all head over there and have fun interacting on this, this sports like tournament bracket thing. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun. But
Thanks,
yeah,
man.
Adam,
I
thank you so
appreciate it.
much for taking the time to be here. Greatly appreciate it,
Cool.
and yeah, I guess look forward to seeing you very soon, man.
All right, buddy. Talk to
Later.
you soon.
All right, guys. Well, that was fun. Like I said, you guys should definitely go check it out. Like I said, it's very fun, very interactive. Go check out the channel, and if I'm sure we'd probably open to suggestions if you have things that certain tournaments or anything you'd like them to do. I'm sure he's totally open to hearing any of those. But yeah, like I said, it's gonna be a fun time. Now, guys, probably gonna end the stream here in just a few minutes. Going to go a little bit shorter tonight. But tomorrow, like I said, I am going to be doing a live stream with Dylan from Dylan's Comic Book Rants. We're going to get on at probably tomorrow afternoon, which will probably be about 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time if you're out there on the East Coast. We're going to get on, talk about some comic books and just I don't know, just have some different conversations with me, Dylan's comic book rants, and also Chris from Chaos and Comics if he's available. And if there's anybody else that's out there in the comic book community that wants to come on, maybe we can get a fourth guest on there and just see what we're doing. We're gonna try to see if we can start something regular on Saturdays. But yeah, it should be a lot of fun. And I hope you guys are having a very good day. Hope you had a great Friday. Like I said, even like Adam was saying, a lot of movie news coming out today. I honestly didn't know about the National Treasure thing. That sounds actually really good to me. National Treasure 3, because the first two movies were really good. Also, I'm going to be going this weekend to watch Bad Boys for Life. Gonna go check that out, and then on Tuesday, LB from the Lonely Banter will be here on the morning movie chat, so we can talk a little bit more about Bad Boys for Life. So yeah, if you guys get a chance, make sure that you head out to the movie theater and see it. If you don't get a chance to, I mean, hey, the theater I go to, they do discount Tuesdays, so you could always go watch it for a couple extra dollars cheaper, or maybe go see a matinee instead of going to see the late show. Anything out there to save a buck, I always try to do that. You know what I mean? Because I'm telling you, man, like, it can be expensive to go to the movies these days. But anyway, guys, that's all I have for tonight. Gonna get some more comic books read. Gonna get some more comic book reviews shot. Hopefully here for after the weekend. One thing I did forget to talk about, guys, was, like, I'm sure you guys can see that poster right there, sitting right there behind me. Yeah, that one right there. I'm kind of pointing to the name. Woo! Mary Jane, the Amazing Mary Jane. That comic book, man. 6 issues in now, and I've got to say, I haven't been disappointed in one issue yet. something that I'm kind of happy for, because in case you guys don't know, I've been very critical of the writer of that series. Her name is Leah Williams, and she's written several different titles. I've went out there and read, kind of did some research, and I'm like, man, like, I don't know, I just really wasn't into her work, but I had a feeling she had a good story in there somewhere. I had a feeling that she had something in her, was ready to be told. She would eventually get a good story. And you know what? I read several of her titles, and it finally came out. She finally came out with a good book. Maybe it was just the right character. Maybe it was just the right time. But Amazing Mary Jane has been a very good series. I just got done with reading issue number 6. Just, I want to say, earlier this week. And I'm going to be doing a review on issue number 6, as well as that series overall, and maybe why I think you guys might want to check that out, as well as several other series that I'm going to be working on here very soon. But that's all I have for this video today, folks. Thank you all so much for tuning into the Second Street Marvel. If you're not already, please make sure you're subscribed. Click the little bell. You know, all that good stuff. You know how it's done. Give this video a thumbs up. Give it a thumbs down if you don't like it. But make sure you share it with a friend and invite them to come hang out with us here on the Second Street Marvel. You all have a very good day. Have a great rest of your night. Have a great weekend, and we'll see you in the next video. Later.